Good evening. Welcome to Channel 8 Sports and East Brunswick High School basketball. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro, being joined again by Phil Hill and Jim Allinder for the start of our 1990 winter season. And Happy New Year to everyone. This is our first broadcast of the 1990s and our first game of the winter season, rather. And we start off with boys basketball, East Brunswick and Stevens. Jimmy, let's talk about the Bears. They're a new Bears team in the fact that they're young. They come in 5-2 record, not a bad record.
That's right, and they're doing as well as can be expected at this point. They had a rather successful early season. They opened up with a loss against St. Joseph in Metuchen, which is a little disappointing, but they're coming along. They've had some regular season wins over teams like Woodbridge, I believe, Bishop Bar, Monroe Township. Then they entered the prestigious Eastern States Tournament, where they opened up with a win over Christiana of Delaware, then sort of came to earth by playing a really extraordinary McHorston team from Trenton. They were kind of blown out on that, and then they came back with a win over Essex Catholic. So here we are into the 1990s. They have an 0-1 division record, but I think things are optimistic for East Brunswick once again. Bo Henning has put together a nice team. Only one senior, Dave Fertig, is really the mainstay, and the rest are juniors. You're going to see some sophomores tonight. We're going to have a chance to talk about each one of these players, but at this point, East Brunswick is a decidedly different team than they were last year. It was a more fast-paced team. They used to go up and down. That's not to say that they won't be going up and down this year. They have extraordinarily good shooting guards. Dave Fertig is the point guard, but he's probably the best three-point shooter in the county, I would have to say. Mike Reisner, I don't know how it's pronounced. I get it so many different. Another great three-point shooter. If there's a weakness with this East Brunswick team thus far that's been exposed, it's been the play of the forecourt. The problem has been rebounding, and I think you see this when you understand that Reisner, the guard, shooting guard, is the leading rebounder on the team. So that's an area where they want to shore up. Tonight's J.P. Stevens, really it's going to be a good opponent. They're 3-2, not the team that they used to be. Phil's going to talk about that, but a game that we're going to be very interested in seeing tonight.
And Phil, we talk about Stevens, and every time we talk about the GMC, no matter whether it's football, basketball, soccer, whatever, it's always J.P. Stevens in some way. What do they look like this year?
Well, you got to remember, John, they are the defending county champions until somebody takes it away from them. Of course, gone from that team, it's Tony Newsom, Zatorsky, George Bowen from last year, and also Vin Cirillo, the coach. They have a new coach, Randy Westrall, a guy that comes to us from Elizabeth, 6 years an assistant at Elizabeth, so he knows a little bit about basketball. Right now they're 3-2, John. They beat Cedarville, Woodbridge, and Moore's Catholic from Staten Island. They lost to St. Peter's and St. Joseph's. Randy feels that they have a very good team. They're very scrappy. They will press. They will play man-to-man and go into a 1-3-1 zone from time to time. They're scrappy, and they expect to be in the game.
Well, we hope you stay with us for our home opener here tonight. East Brunswick, J.P. Stevens. We'll be back with the action in just a moment. Well, good evening. Welcome again. We're about ready to go. East Brunswick, J.P. Stevens from East Brunswick High School. Bears will be in the home green, Stevens in the white. And interesting addition to the East Brunswick lineup. Varnell Johnson will be starting tonight.
That's right, and he has been starting. I think East Brunswick's going to utilize its quickness. It does have a lot of quickness, but players to watch for, though, are going to be the guards. I was talking to Bo Henning, and he would mention that he hopes that Stevens tries to put pressure on the guards, thinking that that's where the point production is going to be, because he's going to run it up and down. So we'll have to watch it.
Well, I was talking to Bo, and I'll continue the story right after the tap-off concerning Stevens, but we're about ready to go. That's Andy Raska ready to jump for the Bears. And it'll be controlled by East Brunswick as we're ready to go. Anyway, Bo Henning was saying that, this Stevens team, they'll out-hustle you. They'll go for those loose balls. They're always ready to play. Shot is good by Raska, and East Brunswick's on top, 2-0.
Phil, I think that's something that Henning wanted. He wanted more production out of Andy Raska. Andy's been having his problems early on, especially on the rebounding end, but he played a lot last year, and they're looking for a lot from him this year.
Well, I just think Bo wants more balance overall, Jim.
Stevens with the ball, half court, looking to set something up. Shot from the outside, off the rim, rebound, follow-up, no good. West Straight has it taken away by Klein.
And you see a little bit of the rebounding problem for East Brunswick.
Shot is good by Gertis.
Yeah.
And we're tied at 2. Steal, and Gertis will bring it down. Underneath, and quickly McCarthy puts the Hawks up 4-2. Raska, shot no good. Johnson rebound, he's fouled underneath.
I think they're going to call that on 33. And that would be Ken Radcliffe.
Scoreboard shows 5-2.
It's got to be 4-2.
All right.
I don't think that was a three-point play.
I didn't think
but
so
maybe
either.
it was from the corner. Maybe that the Gertie shot was a three-pointer.
He was behind the line, definitely so.
Okay.
Okay, we missed it. Well, first game for us.
I'm sorry, that was McCarthy that canned that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We don't
Johnson
know.
at the line hits the first. 5-3 our score. First period action. East Brunswick comes in 5-2. Stevens 3-2. And Johnson makes both. Pressure right away by the Bears. Fertig.
And yeah, you see Fertig playing that point guard position. Somewhat of a sacrifice.
Johnson's going to be called for bumping.
That's sacrifice, excuse me, on Dave Fertig. Reason being is he is a pure three-point shooter, and he has to put more discipline on himself to play the point guard, so he doesn't get those three-point shots necessarily.
Stevens and East Brunswick matching up well in terms of height. Good steal by Fertig. Bears will bring it up court quickly. And Fertig had it stripped.
Quick hands
Good
by
play
Gertis.
by Gertis. Inside, off the glass, won't go for Stevens. West Straight with the rebound.
Johnson's
Quickly
open.
down court, Johnson looking for Reisner.
I tell you, Varnell Johnson was open on the wing there and should have put the ball up himself. Trying to hit the open man, but clearly he was open himself. He should have put it up.
5-4 is our score. Hawks out in front by 1. 5:50 to go, first period. And so a series of bad passes by both teams.
Yeah, a bunch of turnovers here.
Well, both teams are overpassing right now, which means both teams are unselfish. But I believe when you have the open shot, take it.
Fertig has the ball blocked. Able to get it back, hold on to it. Johnson in the corner, being pressured. He's going to need some help.
And that's a defense that Stevens plays very well, Phil. They trap in that 1-3-1, and then they trap in the corner.
West Straight fights his way forward. Johnson got hurt. He went up
Yeah, he
with a
did go
shot.
Oh, it's his.
Looks like the small
by
of
the
his
pelvis,
back.
yeah. He's in a little pain.
And Johnson was on the floor for a while. The action continued over him before the officials.
Well, it was getting a little rough on there. No whistle, and
He was kind of awkward going up for that shot and didn't have the room to land on his feet.
Phil Hostler out with Coach Bo Henning.
And I think you're right. They're rubbing the small of the lower back down there, and certainly you got to be careful that that's in the area of the spine as well.
Right.
But he seems to be okay.
The resiliency of youth.
Starting position, too.
That's right. But, Phil, what I was mentioning before, in the corner there, you're going to find Stevens collapsing. 2 men. They work that very, very well. Henning's aware of that, and he's going to try to find the open man in that situation.
West Straight's basket makes it 6-5. East Brunswick by 1. As the Hawks put it in play. Again, pressure by East Brunswick's defense. Johnson comes out. He'll sit a while.
Kartzman has come in, John. Ted Kartzman, 32.
Looking underneath. Won't go for the Hawks. Knocked out of bounds by the Bears. Shot outside. And Foul's going to be called on number 33. That's Radcliffe going over Reisner. It's a backcourt foul. It'll go over to the Bears. They'll bring it in play. Second foul on Radcliffe.
And James Long comes in the game for Kenny Radcliffe right now. Number 23.
East Brunswick holds on to a 1-point lead, 6-5. Reisner takes the step, puts it up, in and out.
But that's the type of shot you're going to see from East Brunswick.
Stevens on the drive, won't go. Good rebound underneath, no go. And Westrate finally pulls it down. Fighting inside was Gaynor for the Hawks. Shot wouldn't drop though. And Furtick having a little trouble holding on to it, and so does 4 other players. But it'll go over to the Hawks.
Yeah, Dave's had a little bit of a problem. And I'll tell you, it's something that opponents are going to exploit on East Brunswick this year. They're going to put pressure on the guards.
East Brunswick continues the pressure on defense. Both teams kind of sloppy, having a little trouble holding on to the ball, getting set up. We're still in the first period, 4:15 left. East Brunswick by 1, 6-5. Baseline, it'll go. That's Klein.
A nice move by Jeff Klein, driving the baseline.
Reisner to Furtick. Furtick will take it, 3-pointer off the rim.
Good play.
Stolen. Furtick to Reisner, back to Westrate to Reisner. Furtick, rather.
Well, he's not shy about shooting.
Well, you got to like Furtick. It's perpetual motion.
He is. He has a lot of confidence. He has that experience of playing last year.
Westrate with another rebound. East Brunswick on top, 8-7.
Stevens seems to be forcing the shots a little bit, John.
Here he goes.
3-pointer, yes.
And a lot of that confidence and experience, Phil, came last year in the county tournament, if you remember, playing at Rutgers.
That's right.
He was throwing up 3-pointers left and right.
Shot. Hawks, Westrate. That's got to be about his 7th or 8th rebound already. Down court quickly to Reisner. He'll step in the paint and hits.
Stevens needs a timeout.
Timeout, Stevens.
A couple of quick baskets, 2 by Furtick and 1 by Reisner. And all of a sudden you have a 6-point margin.
And Randy Westrall had to call timeout. But I tell you, looking at Furtick and Reisner, for young kids, if you want to talk about how to do a jump shot, I mean, they're so fundamentally sound, releasing that ball at its apex. And good follow through, good form. And you don't always see that in young ball players. Both of them have it.
13-7 is our score, 2:59 left here in the first period, and the Hawks take a timeout. And Phil, you're talking about their new coach coming from Elizabeth High School.
Right.
Any difference in philosophy from the old coach over there at Stevens? I forget the gentleman's name.
Vinny Cirillo.
Vince Cirillo.
That's right, Vin.
Well, Randy comes from Elizabeth, 6 years there, and I'm talking about he's been involved in 5 Union County championships, 6 Watchung Conference championships, and 3 Group 4 championships. And he said the kids up there just love to play. You know, he's trying to instill that into his youngsters down here. But in Elizabeth, they love to play. St. Anthony's lost yesterday, so Elizabeth will probably be the #1 team in the state now.
All right, we're about ready to go. The Hawks will inbound it. Again, pressure by the Bears. You see them, full court. Now they'll settle back into their defensive strategy. Gertis is the play man for him, number 22. That's he with the ball. Looking for some help. That's Long now. Generally a starter, isn't he, Phil Long?
Long is not generally a starter. He's usually first man off the bench. Packard, who hasn't...
Long forces one up.
Oh, Raska with a nice
pulls
rebound.
it down. This is RJ in the game.
Right, RJ Davis.
Raska outside, air, and off Westrate. Substitution for JP Stevens. Rabinowitz comes in, number 13. He'll take McCarthy's place. East Brunswick has Johnson back in, number 50. R.J. Davis, number 23.
It's good to see that Farnell Johnson is in the game.
Nice pass by the Hawks, won't go though. Westrate another big rebound, and here comes Davis. Quickly, he looks down the left side. He's got Johnson. Johnson having a little trouble, and they're going to call jump ball.
Well,
And
Johnson he actually got away with a double dribble as it was, so the jump ball's not a bad call, and the possession goes to J.P. Stevens.
1:44 left here, first period. Score remains 13-7.
And Westrate really doing a job controlling the boards.
He's much more involved in the game than he has been in the past.
He's the Windex man so far. Nice steal by Davis. Having a little trouble holding on to it. Johnson now.
Oh boy, loose ball.
Reisner.
Nice play.
And Johnson will take control. Gets it back over to Reisner. He'll take a three-pointer off the back part of the rim.
Boy, I'll tell you what, I like Farnell Johnson, Phil.
He's scrappy.
He really scraps
is.
around. And it may be a little uncontrolled right now, but give him a year or so, maybe even the end of this year, and you're going to see yourself a quality player.
Long, looking for some help. Looking for Rabinowitz, throws it away. It'll go over to East Brunswick.
Farnell Johnson averaging 5.7 points per game. Coming into this contest, Reisner was the leading scorer, 16.4, and he was followed by Dave Fertig, who has a 12.3 average.
And
Raska has 11.4.
And Reisner goes to the bench probably for a breather, but probably might also for taking that free-flowing three-pointer.
Fertig with the ball, looks underneath for Davis, knocked away. Beck is in, number 41, Dave Beck.
Dave Beck, 6'7", I believe.
Brings a little height to the boards.
Right, he's a junior. He was one of those mainstays on the junior varsity last year. And again, you wonder why a 6'7" player isn't there immediately. He too is growing in experience, and I think Henning is playing and utilizing his men intelligently. He has a deep bench, and everybody's getting a chance.
From under their own basket, Raska, shot, yes.
Nice touch.
15-7, East Brunswick. 45 seconds left here, first period. Stevens slows it down.
And trying to solve this Bear defense.
Rabinowitz looking back to Long. Trying to get it in underneath. Fair shutting them down, though,
nice
in that
defense.
way.
Nice here. Nice defense here.
1-2-2.
20 seconds to go.
Stevens perhaps a little too selective.
Shot off the rim. Raska with the rebound and stolen by Long. He'll take it himself, put it up. No good. Rabinowitz on the follow-up. And Johnson finally comes down with it, but that'll end the first period. Bears on top, 15-7.
Right. All in all, you have to be pleased with that period for the Bears. They probably one of their better defensive efforts this season. I think they really did the job towards the latter part of this period, and they're able to get off some three-point shots there on their own.
They're playing solid defense, but I tell you, Randy Westrol can't be pleased with J.P. Stevens. The shot selection, because of that defense, is very poor, and that's what he's talking to him about now, I'm sure.
And you see the East Brunswick High School varsity cheerleaders. It's been a while since we've seen them. And, we talked about it at the start or prior to the game. This is a different East Brunswick team. Last year, the speed was emphasized, and Bo Henning even said it. Last year, we had speed, and we relied a lot on our athletic ability.
Right. Just strong players.
Strong players. This year, this team's a little more finesse. They're young. They need to get their sea legs, if you will. And I think this will be an interesting season for us following the Bears. They come in 5-2. And Fertig goes right to the boards, and it won't go. Beck on the follow-up. And finally, Westrate will drop it. 17-7 now, East Brunswick.
That's teamwork. Three different players touch that ball before it went in.
East Brunswick continues to box, put pressure. Stevens gets it up. Nice play by Reisner.
Right. Good hustle.
Reisner, Johnson, Fertig, Westrate, and Beck are the 5 now in for East Brunswick. Second period.
Boy, if you're a scout for another team in the red division, I think you have to be a little concerned at this point. They're going to call Fertig on that.
Well, that very easily could have been a 4-point play if the ball would have went.
Rabinowitz will go to the line. He'll shoot 2. 2 team fouls each for East Brunswick and Stevens. Rabinowitz misses the first. Very quiet crowd here at East Brunswick this evening. And that'll make it 17-8. East Brunswick by 9. They get it up. Westrate to Reisner. He'll take the shot from the top of the key. It's
Nice
good.
touch.
19-8.
Here comes the trap.
Rabinowitz, they get it down to him. Doesn't know what to do, and now he'll put it up and he hits. 9-point lead for the Bears. 7 minutes left, second period. Reisner will pull out, look around, gets it to Fertig. Underneath the Westrate.
John, I think Fertig and Reisner.
Three-pointer won't go this time.
I think Reisner and Fertig have the green light anytime they want.
Stevens, shot off the rim, won't go. Westrate. Has anyone but Westrate put the rebound down
He's
yet?
doing a yeoman's job,
He
no
is
doubt
doing a
about
nice
it.
job.
Fertig having a little trouble again, holding on to it.
Curtis with the steal.
Curtis, here he comes, lays it up, and it's good.
Jeff Klein.
I'm sorry, Klein, number 21. Fertig being pressured by Gertis. Push from behind, they'll call him for it.
Phil, you just see somewhat of the inexperience that Fertig has in controlling the ball, bringing it up. He's as I mentioned, the choice by elimination, if you will. I think the natural choice out there for point guard would be Varnell Johnson. But as you mentioned, he's just too young, too inexperienced to handle that job now.
Fertig, three-pointer, yes. 22-12, East Brunswick by 10.
Second three-pointer for Fertig.
5:50 left, second period.
Westrate
with the steal. He takes it back from Fertig, looks to dump it off, and they're going to call a charge on him.
If he would have put the ball up instead of passing, he probably might have got away with it.
All right, Long comes back in for Stevens. A little housekeeping going on by the official.
That's the second time Reisner has done that. Great
play.
anticipation, I
Yeah.
tell you.
I don't think anybody's going to out-hustle East Brunswick this year. They are, as you mentioned, a hard-working team. It's been evidenced during the practice, and it's going to manifest itself during the games.
22-12 is our score. 5:30 left, second period. East Brunswick on top. Three-pointer by the Hawks won't go.
Well, we've seen Gertis shoot that, and he hasn't been too successful.
He hasn't been too successful, but he knows how to hit it. He scored 26 points against St. Peter's in the Christmas tournament. He just hasn't been able to find the range tonight.
Well, the Bears are certainly willing to give him a shot. Let him take it. Reisner
They're going to call it on. They'll give it back to Hawks. They'll say it went off Reisner. So Stevens having the ball a lot has not turned it into points. Here comes Reisner on the break.
3-on-1.
3-on-1. Johnson won't go for him. Raxa, and he's fouled. Hit from behind by Klein.
I'll tell you, the good ones have that great vision. Reisner with a super pass. Burnell Johnson put the ball up a little hard off the ball, however, but just a nice pass by Reisner.
Also feel that temptation to put the ball on the floor one time.
That's right. Instead of, it's one of the hardest things to teach because you get it up from the playground and it's hard to take out.
Raska at the line, in and out. Makes the second, 23-12.
That was 32, Wesley Gaynor putting in that short jumper, John.
23-14 with 4:30 left, second period. Johnson has got the room, won't go though. Westrate on the follow-up.
Well, I'll tell you what, Phil, Westrate is playing a heck of a game.
He's playing a super game. I said he's controlling both boards.
Good passing by Stevens. In and out, and they're just not having any luck. Gerdes finally drops for Klein. Davis brings it up quickly to Johnson. Looking underneath to Raska. He's got room. He spins around. Yes. And he gets the foul.
That's probably one of Andy's best strengths. He is a garbage man in the true sense of the word.
27-16.
And
Andy will go to the line.
if they called that on Radcliffe, that'll be his third foul. No, they're going to call it on 32. That's Gaynor. We have a new face for Stevens, number 31.
31 is Burns.
Stacey Burns.
Raska hits to convert the three-pointer. So it's 28-16 now. The Bears by 12.
And they're starting to creep away. Raska has 8 points in this half. I believe he's tied with Fertig with point total lead.
Shot good by McCarthy.
And good pass by Gerdes.
28-18. Bears by 10. 3:18 left, second period. Davis from the outside.
Look at that strong bound.
Raska, no, but there's Westrate, and he's fouled.
Got to call that on McCarthy.
And as you look at Westrate at the line, who's playing such a super game tonight, he started every game for the JV team, which was 22-2 last year. And his strength is the inside game, and he can only get better.
Well, with Westrate and Raska, both about 6'4". When Beck's in there, they're 6'7". I don't think there's any doubt that East Brunswick has enjoyed the height advantage in a lot of games that they've played thus far this season. It's just that that height was not taken advantage of. Tonight we're seeing where the Westrate is using his height. He's hustling a lot. And Raska's starting to become more comfortable too.
3 minutes left, second period. The Bears by 11, 29-18. They continue to pressure the Hawks. McCarthy forces it up. He finally hooks it in. Quickly down court to Johnson. He'll take it. Ooh. Yes. And he was up in the air for that one, Phil.
I'll tell you, he got nice height on the jump shot, dribbled the ball behind his back, and good form.
31-20. Stolen by Johnson.
Nice play by the sophomore.
Good heads-up play. Knocks it off one of the Hawks players.
All right, Kartzman and Beck are coming in. And Johnson gets a rest, as does Westrate. Henning playing a lot of people.
That's been his style. Davis to Reisner. Back to Davis to look around.
Boy, they just...
Bad pass cross court there. A foul's going to be called on Reisner.
Right, they saw that coming. It's just interesting, though. You've got 3 Bears positioned around the perimeter of the three-point zone. It's like they're just ready and willing to shoot it.
Yeah, they're not gun shy, that's for sure. We've seen that already this first half. We have 1:59 left.
Phil, have you noticed more and more high school teams, because of the size of the three-point line, sort of heading towards the three-point?
Yes, and I don't blame him. We talked about this last year.
Reisner, three-point land. Won't go, but there's Raska. He's fouled, no call. 1:40 left. Bears by 11, 31-20. Foul underneath. Beck, I think will be called, number 41.
Jim, we talked about it last year, that three-point range, and I'm not surprised more kids are shooting from there. It's only 19-9, and why shouldn't they?
Yeah, especially if you're going to get 3 out of it. But sometimes that can work to the detriment of a team, simply because they want to go after the three-point shot, yet they're more or less resorting to an outside game where their strength may be inside.
Right.
Klein makes it 31-21. And adds another. So the Bears lead cut to 9. Bad pass there by Davis. Nice tap in. That was Burns, 31. Timeout, East Brunswick with 1:20 left, second period.
Yeah, Henning, even though there's 1:20 left in the period, just doesn't want this lead to creep away. And he got 7 points, and I think he'd like to keep it there at least for this half, if not extend it.
11-point lead is now down to 7, 31-24. And you see Bo Henning drawing up some plays.
Stevens is not, or excuse me, they are substituting freely also. So I was going to make the comment that maybe in the latter stages of this game, conditioning could be a factor.
I'll tell you, they're substituting freely, but an interesting sidelight is Randy Westroll used to be in charge of discipline at Elizabeth High School. And apparently one of his starters, Packard, Mike Packard is in his doghouse, and he still hasn't gone to the bench to put him in the game yet. He told me that the young man, so much that the young man was in his doghouse, and still he hasn't pulled him off the bench. So he believes in discipline.
Quickly down court, Raska won't go. Rebound Hawks. Inside a minute before halftime. Bears by 7, 31-24. Shot off the rim. Rebound Reisner. They get it down to Kartzman. He's looking underneath.
There they collapse in the bet underneath.
Nice pass underneath to Beck, and he's called for travel.
Yeah, he took that step.
Now, I've got to wonder, just I'll speak out loud, if Dave Beck is Tom Beck's son.
Well, we'll find
he isn't.
that out.
Okay. Kind of looks like him.
Tom Beck, a
Tom
super
Beck, a
athlete
name
here.
from the past,
Ooh,
yeah.
Wow, what a baseball player.
What an athlete he was. That's a long time ago. Showing your age, Phil. 30 seconds left, second period. Shot outside long, and he hits. I'm sorry, that's Radcliffe.
John, you're the one that brought it up.
I tell you, J.P. Stevens is in this game.
Yep, they came back.
They came back 31-26, and that's what Bohannon said. They're going to fight you, they're going to scrap with you, and they're going to be there at the end.
Henning calls for one here.
9 seconds. Davis with the ball. I'm sure they want Reisner to touch it. He puts it up, three-pointer. A little strong. And that'll do it. So we come to the half. At East Brunswick High School, the Bears on top, 31-26.
Right, it was I believe a 12-point margin not more than 3 minutes ago, but a couple errant passes on the part of East Brunswick, and suddenly Bohannon has something to talk about at halftime.
And I tell you, if you're Randy Westroll, you got to be pleased because you know you didn't play a terribly good first half, and nevertheless, you're still in the game.
Well, we'll come back with our thoughts and the start of the second half in just a moment. All right, we're about ready to start the second half from East Brunswick High School. The Bears on top, 31-26. And Jimmy, I know you have some of the halftime stats.
Right, quickly before we start here, Fertig and Raska had 8 points apiece for East Brunswick. Josh Westrate had 7. Boy, we started real quick here.
Yeah, they really moved them out. Refs must have a place to go tonight.
Yeah, Josh Westrate also had 7 rebounds. We thought he had more, didn't we?
Yeah.
He seemed to be all over the place.
That's Klein on the drive.
Wow.
31-28.
Boy, they're really coming back.
I'll tell you.
Raska won't go. Johnson's fouled underneath by Klein.
At position.
I'll tell you, Coach Randy Westroll was extolling his team right before the beginning of this half, saying the first 3 minutes, he wanted to control that first 3 minutes, get back in the game, and possibly take it over. Let's see what happens.
East Brunswick with the ball. Under their own basket, Fertig, three-pointer. No. Radcliffe with the rebound.
And those points are just not falling now.
East Brunswick 5-2 coming in. J.P. Stevens 3-2 coming into this game. GMC Red Division contest here. Big game for East Brunswick in terms of the conference title.
Oh, they need it, John. They really do.
Rebound, Fertig.
And East Brunswick is running.
Ball knocked away from him. Johnson, they're going to call him for a travel. A little head fake, but his feet were moving. East Brunswick continue to put pressure on defense. Johnson will back off now. McCarthy to Radcliffe. Gainer to Klein, and they're moving it around. Gerties won't go. Reisner.
Oh, he took that
1
on
foot, and he hits.
He took that on a run, didn't he?
I'll tell you, nice shot by
Wow.
Reisner. Give Burnell Johnson an assist on that. He knocked the ball away to start at the fast break.
33-28.
And I'll tell you what, those are 2 points that East Brunswick needed. From the latter part of the first half, John, to the beginning of this half, they had quite a stretch there where they didn't score any points.
Raska's going to be called for the foul.
I believe that's his first foul.
This will be Klein. He'll go to the line. Third period action from East Brunswick High School. Not enough mustard on that.
Well, the infamous air ball.
Throwing up a brick, as they say. Makes the second 33-29. East Brunswick holding on to a slim lead.
Boy, there's that press in the corner.
Reisner takes it straight down. It's got Westrate. Back out to Furtick, three-pointer. Won't go.
Dave's a little off tonight.
Gets it back, and the layup. Good hustle. 35-29. 6 points now for the Bears.
And that was an errant rebound that just found East Brunswick's hands.
They'll go over to the Hawks.
They broke that press. Nice.
Nice move, layup
I'll tell
by
you,
Burns.
the Bears put on a full court press, and of course, once you break the press, you pay for it.
And the table's turning a little bit here now. The Hawks playing good D.
I think Bo wants another timeout here.
And they're going to call Klein for a charge.
Jacket is off.
And Klein, interesting, Klein tells his coach to cool it. Be calm, coach, it's okay.
Well, that's Klein's third foul. He's got to watch it.
So he's begging to keep me in the game, coach.
But Bo Henning has his jacket off. I haven't seen that too many times.
I'm impressed by Randy Westrall.
He's a very vocal coach, and as I said, if he spent 6 years at Elizabeth, he has to know something about basketball.
All right, the Bears will bring it in. 4-point lead, 35-31.
John, they need a stretch here where they get more than just one basket, where they're trading baskets.
Fertig, and they're going to call a travel.
Right.
Getting sloppy here now for East Brunswick.
And that voice you hear is Westrall.
Johnson gets a hand on it.
Shot. Gainer won't go. Radcliffe won't go. Johnson pulls it down. Looking for some help down court. Tries to get it to Fertig, won't go. Here comes Radcliffe.
Ooh.
And he'll put it in. 35-33. Bears by 2. They once had a 12-point lead. Underneath, Ratska turns around. Westrate finally on the follow-up. 37-33. 4:30 left, third period.
Well, Josh had the position on that one.
Burns drops it in.
I think both teams decided to go back and forth here.
37-35. Reisner will put it up.
Ooh.
Hits. Three-pointer.
That was college territory there.
Right.
Pro.
40-35.
Way out there.
Bad pass. Fertig. Johnson tries to follow up. Has the ball stripped. It'll go back to East Brunswick.
Give it to the Bears.
And Stevens. They're scrapping. They're hustling. Reisner looks inside for Westrate. Ooh, they say it's off the Hawks.
And watch Fertig set up here. Okay.
Nice pass. Westrate sneaks in right underneath. 42-35. East Brunswick back to a 7-point lead. Little breathing room. And they're going to call Gertie's traveling.
And Gertie's has been out of control several times tonight. Nevertheless, the coach keeps him in there.
Beck will come in. Westrate will take a breather. Fertig bringing it up. Shot Reisner, three-pointer, yes.
He is a streak shooter.
45-35, Bears by 10.
And just a nice touch, I tell you.
Boy, you know, just two 3-pointers, and already East Brunswick has got a 10-point lead again. This three-point shot has done so much to change the way the game moves. Even more so, we see it.
Well, it makes the game much more exciting. It forces you into a lot of man-to-man.
Steal by Fertig.
He's going to take it himself.
Lays it in.
And
I think Stevens is tired.
trouble for Stevens. Maybe
Timeout Stevens, 47-35.
maybe this pace is catching up with him,
Well,
Phil.
as I mentioned, Westdraw extolled this team the first 3 minutes. Let's give it all, and I think they put a lot of energy. They made it close, and I think they started running out of gas.
And it's back to a 12-point margin.
2:53 left third period. The Bears by 12, 47-35.
You know what really gave them that early 12-point margin in the first half was the three-point shots. Frittig hit 2. Reisner hit, he didn't hit any, but now all of a sudden Reisner hits 2 in a row. And again, that extends the margin. The outside shooting is what makes it for East Brunswick.
Well, it's somewhat poetic justice. If you remember last year in the GMC tournament, there was Newsom dropping in three-pointers left and right on East Brunswick.
What an exciting game that was.
That was a good game.
And speaking of those guys, Jimmy, I happen to know where those J.P. Stevens players are. Zatorsky went to NYU.
Okay.
And Newsom is a starter for Niagara.
I've heard about him.
Bill Thomas went to Middlesex, and George Bowen didn't go on to play ball, surprisingly, nor did Scott Lane.
Okay.
So maybe we can hear about the East Brunswick Five from last year.
Well, in attendance tonight, we don't have our cameras on him, but Brian Forte, who is going on to the University of Miami to play football.
Stevens with the ball, 2:40 left third period. They trail by 12. Radcliffe looking to go to the hoop, has trouble holding on to it, finally finds the handle. Johnson on top of Gerdes. Oh, they're gonna call Gerdes with the foul.
Tough call. Tough call.
Tough call. Give Burnell Johnson credit for playing him tough, though.
Well, I think it's a difficult call because these teams have been trading off like this all night and playing close to each other. And apparently the official's vantage point saw an elbow.
Verdig looks inside, has Ratska. He'll turn around at the foul line, in and out. Pulled down by Johnson.
Here goes Reisner.
Reisner from no man's land won't go. And boy, you're right. These guys aren't afraid to put him up.
Not at all. And as Jimmy pointed out, they must have the green light. Fertig and Reisner, they're both the captains. You might expect that they would, but the other guys don't seem to be afraid to put it up neither.
That's 5. Surprised they got it off.
Verdig. He was almost in the bleachers.
Oops, got away with a walk.
1:53 left third period. Bears still by 12, 47-35. Klein. And Stevens has gone cold.
Oh.
Blocked by Beck, but they're going to call him for a foul.
All right, you mentioned, we talked about Brian Forte. Another starter, Brett Charleston, is at Middlesex County College, we understand. Dwayne Taylor, I know, has gone to Lowell, Massachusetts. He's playing over there. Ramon Trent, Nassau Community College on a football scholarship. And Mark Harmon is walking on at Rutgers University, hoping to play football next year.
Wow. Great.
At the line for Stevens will be Gaynor. Makes the first, 47-36, with 1:39 left here, third period. We're at East Brunswick High School, our opening game of the 1990 winter season.
Gaynor makes them both. I suppose that's a full Gaynor.
And we're back in the season, mid-season form, as you can tell.
Phil
Bears by 10.
Packard has yet to come in.
Davis looking around.
They're calling 3 seconds, I believe.
Now they're going to call Radcliffe, I think, for a little pushing.
That's 3 fouls on him.
Holding, they're calling on Radcliffe.
So along with Klein, who has 3, Stevens is slowly getting into foul trouble here. Don't know what they call Westrate?
Yeah, Beck.
Okay.
Beck for the push.
Now Beck has 3. And he leaves.
I'd say he's got to be related to Tom Beck in some way because he looks just like him.
Well, whoops.
Backcourt, they don't call it. Anyway, he goes over to East Brunswick. Shot, and that's number 12. That's Daly. Ryan Daly snuck in on us.
Now Ryan Daly is a transfer from from St. Joseph's of Metuchen.
Yeah.
You recall him being on the soccer team?
Yes, that's right. Good turnaround by West Strait. 49-37.
Ooh.
Klein kind of stepped right on West Strait. We'll keep an eye on that battle now.
West Strait shakes it off.
Well, I don't think it was intentional, John.
I don't know. Anyway, we're back to action. Davis to Daly. West Strait back to Daly. Nice move.
Good
Give and
pass.
go.
Really nice.
20 seconds.
Stevens holding for one shot.
10 seconds. Underneath is Burns, stuffed, pushed away by Ratska.
Ooh. And
Good hustle by West Strait.
good hustle.
Excellent hustle.
Ball must have hit the line. I thought the whistle blew a little premature.
6 seconds.
Oh, they're going to have to get it off here.
Gertie's three-pointer.
Wait.
Won't go. That'll do it. At the end of 3, it's East Brunswick 51, Stevens 39.
Boy, they got that margin back up to 12 again. It's going to be a tough haul for the Hawks. Josh Weststrait, he has been the difference so far. He's come through with 6 points in this quarter to add to his 7. So he's got 13 points for the Bears. I think he's the leading scorer now. Excuse me, gentlemen, I'm starting to lose it.
Just now.
But he has a nice evening so far.
He has. He took a hard fall there, and he got up and West Strait we're talking about, shook the cobwebs out and came up with a big assist.
So we go to the last 8 minutes. East Brunswick looking for a home win here in 1990, their first win of the new year. Out ahead by 12, 51-39. And we'll be following the Bears as they go on throughout the season.
I'll tell you, I think that experience of having been in that Eastern States tournament really pays off for the Bears as far as toughness. You know, they continue to scrap. And when teams pull close, they have something in reserve.
Had a nice 1-point victory over Essex Catholic in the third-place consolation game. Fertig, I think, nailed a layup with just 1 second to go to pull it out.
Let's see if Stevens can somehow get close. They have a tendency to do that. Both teams hustling about. Stevens looking for the open man. McCarthy spins, shot,
nice.
and a foul's going to be called on Davis.
Well, it's a play. McCarthy telegraphed all the way that he was going to take that shot, and then was fortunate enough to pick up the foul as well.
Radcliffe comes back in, number 33, for the Hawks. He gives them some height. And McCarthy converts for the 3 points, 51-42, as we go to 7:25 left in the game. Davis and Reisner. Ratska off. Here comes Radcliffe.
Poor shot selection there.
He'll take it himself all the way.
Yeah, I think Andy may sit on that one.
The Stevens team's not giving up, though.
Now, it appears that Beck playing the pivot. Raska goes outside.
Reisner off. Ratska fouled underneath. I think it's on Radcliffe. Well, they'll call it on McCarthy.
All right, so you have Beck coming out, West straight in.
Ratzka makes it 52-44.
He's 3 for 4 from the line thus far.
And a nice touch. Stevens looking to get it close. Nine-point lead for the Bears, 53-44. Inside,
Nice
stolen by Fertig. Down to Reisner, underneath the Ratzka. Ball knocked away. East Brunswick controls it. Ratzka again, nice reverse in there.
Well, I think Andy recognized the challenge of being stuffed and wanted to take it to the hoop.
Just a fine move.
55-44. Radcliffe, he's been hot of late.
He's starting to heat up.
Inside of 6 minutes left.
Well, Stevens is matching the Bears.
Fertig
Very nice.
takes it right to the hoop. 57-46.
They're doing it all kinds of ways,
I'll
Phil.
tell you, it looked like a fancy shot, but Fertig in control of his body.
Well, these Bears are very versatile. They can shoot it from the outside, and if they have to go inside, they can do that too. Oh, that
Off the foot of Klein, so it'll go over to East Brunswick. Substitutions now for Stevens.
And I guess Westrel has no intention of using Packer tonight.
Bears
Johnson will bring it up. He's got Ratzka underneath. No good, but Westrade is right there, and he's fouled.
I don't know how they can call that one.
Gertie's his call.
Gosh, he had all the ball.
And Josh will go to the line. 5:16 remaining. Bears by 11.
West Straight leading scorer with 13 points.
Drive. Klein won't go. Rebound West Straight. Fertig's
Nice.
got Johnson on the wing. Johnson unable to put enough on it to get it to the hoop. McCarthy will bring it up. And here comes Stevens. 59-48. And a timeout, East Brunswick.
Well, it's still an 11-point margin. Now, you would think it's comfortable, but I'll tell you what, the way Stevens knocked, shaved off that margin in the first half or the third quarter.
That's right.
You never do have a comfortable lead
That's
in this
right.
game.
And if Gertis could ever get on, if he can get hot, he puts the ball up enough.
Yes, he does.
No telling what.
But Stevens hasn't been resorting though to that to the outside shooting.
No, they haven't.
I think Bo Henning kind of sensed it, and that's why I call a timeout right now. Things were just starting to change the wrong way. We have 4:45 left in the game. The Bears on top by 11, 59-48. But Stevens has a way of coming back on you.
So, Jim, who are the people we have to watch out for in the GMC this
Well,
year?
I think undoubtedly the team that East Brunswick opened up with, St. Joseph and Tutchin. John Samoji,
right,
the coach,
right.
returning to the coaching ranks. And Perth Amboy returns Daryl Cross, John Carpenter, Sam Pritchard. They're big and they're very, very fast. And they've got excellent scoring. And as a matter of fact, Amboy and St. Joe's played each other in an early season game with Perth Amboy coming out on top. But you can't discount East Brunswick. So we will watch that.
going to be an interesting GMC tourney this year as Reisner comes up with the steal. Johnson able to control it.
And East Brunswick probably is going to take its time now.
Fertig will take it right to the basket, loses control.
Ooh.
Well, he didn't have the opening. He tried to make one.
They're going to go a charge on Fertig. Pretty obvious. 59-48 is our score with 4:20.
Stevens has to put it up.
Shot, Radcliffe, off the rim. Ratska with the rebound. And he'll give it to Fertig to bring it up. He does to Reisner.
Radcliffe had the hot hand.
Fertig. And he gives it back to Reisner. And there's Gertis.
Yeah, he
You knew that was going to happen.
pass.
Ooh.
Radcliffe can't control it.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
what,
Curtis with a good pass, and as you point out, Radcliffe just couldn't hold on to the ball.
Chris Sorallo coming in now, seeing his first action.
And you know who he is, Jimmy.
Vince's son, isn't it?
Son of Vinny Sorallo,
Good Lord.
former coach of J.P. Stevens.
Nice
Raska.
layup by Ratska. 61-48 Bears.
You got some nice balanced scoring so far from East Brunswick. Westrate leads it with 15 points. Both Fertig and Raska have 14.
Shot won't go. Westrate. Another rebound for him. And he'll give it up to Fertig. Down there's Ratska all by himself underneath. He's fouled, but it won't be called as Reisner on the follow-up makes it 63-48.
That was a nice strong move by Andy to the basket. He didn't, a little wasted motion there. He didn't make it, but it's the kind of move you want to see.
2:50 left here in the game.
East Brunswick's biggest lead, John, 15 points.
Shot, Gertis. No. And here comes Reisner. Fertig. He'll plant, won't go, but there's Westrate. What a game for him tonight.
He really did play well. You say,
Timeout, Stevens.
you say that Gerties had 26 points against St. Peter's?
Against St. Peter's, Gertis has 26 points.
He
And
has
he
2 points
two
tonight.
points. He's been
One
off
bucket.
terribly, and he's been
Yeah.
taking a lot of shots. And if he could hit half of them, Stevens would be in the game.
Yeah, he's just looking up at the ceiling in frustration. I think he realizes that if some of those shots had fallen in, maybe the score would be a little bit closer now. East Brunswick has blown it open now. I think you can safely say with a 17-point lead, they have this game well in hand. Just 2:30 left to go. Looking at the schedule, John, an improved Edison team is going to be the opponent. Edison with a 5-2 record. This is a team that was 0-21 or 0-26 last year. But and then that'll be this Saturday, the January 6th. And that'll be followed by another home game next Tuesday right here. That will be against Saraville. And then the following Friday, January 12th, the Bears will be on the road again at Piscataway.
Ready to go, 2:25 left in the game. The Bears enjoying a 65-48 lead. Won't go, but there's Radcliffe on the follow. Down court, Johnson, nice pass back to Ratska.
And they elect to
And
bring
they'll
it
have
out.
to pull it up a little bit now.
Why not?
Johnson's showing some quick feet. Having a little trouble controlling the ball, however.
Curtis, Mercy.
Not falling in, are they?
Fertig. And McCarthy's going to be called.
And I tell you, if you can take the look at number 22, Gertis's face, it's like he just can't believe. And they're bringing him out of the game right now.
Right.
It's just been one of those nights. He's not out of the game.
Yeah. It's Fertig's first trip to the line tonight. There hasn't been a lot of foul shooting.
And he has a quick wrist, shoots it right in. to make it 66-50, 16-point lead for the Bears as Daly will come back in.
You know, the Bears have been very strong from the line tonight. I believe they've only missed two shots.
Johnson will take a rest with 1:50 left. That should probably be it for him. Good game for Varnell. And East Brunswick looking to improve their record to 6-2. Klein still fighting underneath for the Hawks, but he's fouled.
Call that on
Raska, I think.
Weststraight, I believe.
Okay.
No, you're right. Raska.
1:38 left.
Well, I'll tell you what. Looking at the statistics coming into this game, East Brunswick was 54% from the free throw line. Tonight, they're 11 for 13. That has to please Bo Henning.
Well, if you remember last year, that was one of the curses for the Bears, was that foul shooting. Here's Radcliffe. And he's been hot in the second half for the Hawks, Bill.
When he can set up, John, he's deadly. But if when he's in motion, he has problems.
Going to call a foul on
Gertie's hacking Fertig.
And that's probably more of a foul out of frustration. So Fertig's going to have an opportunity to pad his scoring.
Oh, they're going to bring Johnson back in for Daly. With 1:24 left, the Bears by 14, 67-53.
Fertig has 17 points, I believe, thus far. 16. Oh, there's a miss.
And no one moved for Stevens. Timeout? No, a foul is going to be called on Radcliffe. That's good. Is that what, his fourth, Jim, or fifth?
On Radcliffe, that is number 4, yes.
That'll about do it here at East Brunswick. I would think a minute 24, 14-point lead. Well, this is our first look at the East Brunswick team. You've got to be pleased what we've seen thus far tonight.
That's for sure.
Well, you have the makings of a fine club here this year.
Bo Henning said they are young, they are learning, and with each game he sees improvement, and that's all you can hope for. Foul is going to be called on Fertig.
How about that? East Brunswick 13 for 16 from the free throw line.
Well,
I like it.
We smile about it, but the fact of the matter is when they get in the bigger games, that may be the telling point.
Right. Well, Gertie's gets his 3rd point.
Daly comes back in again for Johnson. Gertie's won't go. 69-54. That's McCarthy. A little spinner. Klein.
He's a tough player.
And Klein has had a fine game for J.B. Stevens tonight.
He's had 14 points.
Inside a minute now. Fertig being mugged. Finally, a foul's going to be called on Radcliffe.
Fertig is going to go to the line again.
I'll tell you that Fertig is a feisty young fellow there. He's
kind of lanky, a lot of arms and legs there.
Yeah, but he is feisty. He's tough.
Yeah, Radcliffe out with his 5th. I'm finding it kind of amusing, if nothing else, the Varnell Johnson Ryan Daly switch here. Every couple minutes they're in and out for one another. Unless that's a signal they have among themselves near the end and they kind of spell one another.
I'll tell you why you look at Fertig young there. Not only is he a good athlete, but he has a grade point average of 4.0.
Wow.
So a bright young fellow too.
Yeah, Coach Henning was saying that this is one of the brightest teams he's ever coached in terms of their scholastic talents.
Well, Fertig is pulled away as the leading scorer for East Brunswick.
Inside of 50 seconds now as Gertie throws one up. Won't go. Klein still hustling.
Yeah, that's been his story all night.
Fertig pulls it down, and they're going to call McCarthy with the foul, number 20.
And is Fertig going to the line again? He has been racking up some free throws here.
Well, that's because he's around the ball.
Right.
71-56 is our score. The Bears by 15.
He has 20 points, Dave Fertig, and 6 of them have come in the last minute or two just from the free throw line. Perfect. He's finding net here.
Looking good.
You know, he's really getting an opportunity to get a rhythm, Phil.
That's right.
He makes both to make it 72-56.
22 points for Dave Fertig. I believe that is his high for this year.
And he comes out of the game and
nice job.
A fine game. He should be getting a nice hand.
56 is the score. 40 seconds left, and
steal by Reisner.
Steal by Reisner as they look to put the icing on it.
Whoops.
Try to get it to Johnson. Johnson over to Davis. Anyway, I want to be sure that we don't miss thanking Michelle Katz, who's provided us with the statistics, helped us out here for tonight's game. We thank Michelle.
Klein guy, I believe, got that right.
Down to 15 seconds.
There's the pressure right in the middle.
Nice play by Johnson. 10 seconds. 73-58. Johnson will hold it for the shot.
They have to foul.
And he puts it up.
Whoa.
Hits
Whoa.
with 3 seconds. That'll do it. 75-58 is our final.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that two-pointer by Varnell Johnson sort of accentuated this game.
And East Brunswick, again, with this is the first time we've seen them this year, looking good. We knew they were young. They showed a lot of hustle.
Yeah.
A lot of tenacity.
And I think one of the areas, John, that Bo Henning was concerned about, rebounding. Josh Westray played an excellent game.
A super
tonight.
game, he really did.
Well, they could only get better, and they have a tough schedule ahead of them. This GMC conference by no means is a conference you can just, close your eyes and walk through. As Jimmy mentioned, they've got Edison coming up, a tough team. Piscataway will always give you a game. Woodbridge, St. Joe's,
right.
tough team. Perth Amboy, and then they play Stevens again. So nothing is easy.
That's for sure. But they have talent, though.
They do have talent.
And they're tenacious and hang right in there, and they have some fine shooters.
They do. Again, our final from East Brunswick, it's the Bears 75, J.P. Stevens 58. So for Phil Hill and Jim Allinder, I'm John Meggiolaro saying good night, and thanks for being with us.